Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, a really big welcome. My name is Jenny and I make all sorts of lifestyle content on this channel. So I make things like weekly vlogs, and then I make videos about all kinds of things from chronic illness, disability, mental health to Disney, fashion, a bit of travel when we can do that kind of thing, a bit of everything. So hopefully there's something here that you'll enjoy, and I hope you'll stick around to watch this video. So today's video is a bit of a kind of relaxed chat. It's not very planned. I haven't kind of set up my background or anything like that. I mean, as you can see, I've been tidying, so there's some bits on the bed behind me. There's post-it notes on the wall because we're trying to, we've marked where we want to put my shelves up. Usually I have a candle and I haven't done that. I just wanted to sit down and have a bit of a chat. I don't quite know what I'm going to call this video, some kind of life update thing. But yeah, basically, I just wanted to catch you up really, because you'll probably realise if you watch my videos that at the moment I'm quite behind with my weekly vlogs. I got behind when I was doing my, I think it was the EDS Awareness Month vlogs videos, and it took me a long time to edit them and get them all out, and yeah, I got quite behind with that. And then the last few months my health has not been brilliant. I've had various infections and just general chronic illness not being great, and yeah, I've just got quite behind with them. So I've still been getting them out, but yeah, I think at the moment I am in possibly the beginning of July and I'm filming this in September, so I thought it would be best to just sit down, because I'm not going to be able to update you with the weekly vlog because I'm not going to get that out in time. So basically, yeah, I'm going into hospital on Thursday, the 30th of September. I'll do a little bit of a backstory in case you haven't been watching weekly vlogs or you've only joined recently or anything like that. So in November 2019, I had surgery on my right femur. I had something called a femoral osteotomy. Basically, I've had problems with my hips for, well, since I was born. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, various other connected conditions. I was born with dislocating hips. I was put in a Pavlik harness and they thought that that had kind of fixed it. But growing up, I've always had a lot of pain in my hips. They've always been very clicky, have kind of like subluxed and come out a bit, and I've always struggled to get any kind of help with it. Eventually I was referred up to London to UCLH and saw a surgeon up there. They did some scans and basically found that my femurs are rotated too far inwards. So that affects the way that the hip joint kind of sits. It can cause pain, problems with walking, that kind of thing. It had never been picked up before, I guess because I'd not had the right scans. I hadn't seen the right person who understood that kind of thing. For quite a while we tried kind of more conservative treatment methods, so painkillers, physio, that kind of thing. Nothing was really helping, so in the end they decided that doing the femoral osteotomy would be the best thing, which basically entailed them breaking my femur, rotating it so that it was at a better angle, and then fixing it with a rod and screws. So yeah, I had that done in November 2019. I will link the videos below if you want to find out a little bit more about it. Basically it was a traumatic experience, not because of the surgery itself. The actual surgery went fine, but afterwards I was quite unwell and I ended up needing care from the intensive care outreach team. We're not really sure what happened. I started having back-to-back seizures when I came onto the ward. They found that a lot of my electrolyte levels were just all over the place, and we're not sure if that caused it. I did see a neurologist there at the time and they said they thought it was what's it called, functional neurological disorder, which I question that. I'm not sure, because my electrolyte levels were so all over the place, and also I hadn't had access to any of my medication. So I'd gone cold turkey on all the medication that I'm on, and my electrolyte levels were just, completely out of whack. So I do wonder whether those things had something to do with it as well, and also just like the shock to my body. I was in a lot of pain, I'd lost a fair amount of blood, and anyway, I ended up having back-to-back seizures for a couple of days and just being quite unwell, but once I'd got my electrolytes kind of sorted a bit more, I seemed to start to improve. But I still have a lot of quite traumatic memories of that time, and it's still something that I struggle with quite a lot. But the surgery was done, and that part of it had gone to plan. It had been fixed, and the x-rays all looked good. I was then sent home to recover. But unfortunately, recovery just didn't really seem to go to plan, which is just typical for me. Like, nothing seems to go how it's meant to go. I started doing physio with my local physio, and they were brilliant. They upped the sessions, so I was seeing somebody twice a week because they kind of felt like I wasn't really making any progress, and they wanted to try and kind of help me get to somewhere. I did hydrotherapy, but the problem then seemed to be with my knee. I was getting a lot of swelling in my knee. It was really painful. I was struggling to bend it. Every time I did any kind of like physio or hydrotherapy, my knee would just get like huge, and nobody really knew what was going on. It got to the point where my physio was just like, I'm not comfortable doing physio on you because I don't know what is going on with your knee. And she didn't know, was her physio causing damage to my knee? She basically just wasn't happy to continue, which is fair enough because I wasn't particularly happy continuing either, not knowing what was going on. Unfortunately, around this time, the COVID pandemic started and everything basically shut down, and it became increasingly difficult to see any kind of medical professional. I spoke to my surgeon on the phone a couple of times and explained what was happening. My physio also contacted him as well, and he was a bit confused basically about what was going on, because he said that the surgery that they'd done shouldn't really be affecting my knee. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to see me in person. I think I had some x-rays at my local hospital at one point, but they didn't particularly show anything. The only thing that they were starting to show was that the bones in my knee and my lower leg were starting to thin quite quickly, but we didn't know if that was a cause, so that was like the reason things weren't going right, or whether it was an effect in that they were thinning because I wasn't using it as much. But I spent a long time not really getting anywhere. I couldn't have physio, I couldn't see a doctor, and my surgeon was massively apologetic, and he said that he really needed to see me in person. He wanted to see me in person, but his hands were tied because of COVID. So for a long time I just kind of pootled along doing not very much. Tried to do what physio I could, but just wasn't really getting anywhere because my knee was causing so many problems. Eventually, quite a long time later, I was actually able to see my surgeon in person, and they kind of examined me and everything, and were still quite confused about what was the problem. They suggested more physio because they couldn't see anything on my x-rays or anything that suggested that there was any kind of issue with the knee. So I then had 6 more sessions of physio, but again, that just did nothing. My knee was just not really bending at all. I physically couldn't bend it myself. The physio could bend it a little bit, but we just weren't making any progress. And we got to the 6th session and the physio just said, I don't think there's much point in me trying to renew your sessions because we're not getting anywhere. Which was hard to hear, because I was just getting to the point where I was kind of thinking, okay, like, you can't help me, the last physio couldn't help me, my surgeon doesn't know what's going on, like, I don't know what to do. So I then went back to my surgeon and said, you know, this physio doesn't think they can do anything more. And eventually, like over a year later from having the surgery, I was able to be referred to a knee specialist who practices at UCLH as well. They'd had various like multidisciplinary team meetings with my surgeon and the knee surgeon, and he had just said, I think I need to see her in person. So a few months ago now, I think it was, I went up to London to see this knee surgeon. I was really, really anxious about it because I had spent so long being told by people that this is strange, I don't know what's going on, like, this is, like, my surgeon even said, like, I've never seen this happen to anybody before, which isn't really what you want to hear when, like, there's something wrong with you and you want an answer. So yeah, I was quite anxious when I went to see this surgeon, but the appointment actually went really well. So the surgeon that I saw was absolutely lovely. He asked various questions and he did an examination, and then he sat us down, and I think his first words were something like, well, this is a bit of a strange case, and I was just like, okay, I really hope that you're going to say more than that, because I can't deal with somebody else not knowing what is going on. But he then went on to say that he thinks that he knows what the issue is. And basically his thoughts are that when I had my femoral osteotomy, it caused me to develop complex regional pain syndrome in my knee, which can happen. Obviously any kind of trauma to any part of your body can result in complex regional pain syndrome, and that's what he thinks has happened with my knee, because the symptoms that I was getting seemed to make sense with that, you know, the pain, the swelling, I was getting sort of strange skin changes and that kind of thing. He says it wasn't a typical presentation of CRPS, but it did seem to fit kind of that way. So he thinks that I had that CRPS, and then because of COVID and the fact that I couldn't see a doctor in person, I couldn't get the right referrals or treatment or anything like that. I couldn't even get a diagnosis. Because of that delay, I obviously wasn't using my knee as I should have been able to, because of the pain and the swelling and everything, and not having any treatment for it. And because that has gone on for quite a long time, what he thinks has happened is that I've developed something called arthrofibrosis, I'm not very good at saying it, in my knee, which is basically where you develop scar tissue, and the scar tissue has kind of stuck my soft tissue to the bones in my knee. So he said that the soft tissue in your knee should basically not be stuck to the bones, so that the joints can basically glide over each other when you bend and straighten your leg. But with me, he thinks what's happened is that the soft tissue has stuck to those bones, which is stopping the knee from moving. And yeah, that's basically happened as a result of COVID and not being able to access a doctor, which is frustrating. You know, I don't blame anybody, because, you know, it's COVID and it's not their fault. But it does make me quite frustrated about COVID. I mean, you know, obviously things could have been worse, and a lot worse things have happened to people because of COVID. So I'm trying not to feel too upset or angry about it, because there's just no point. But it is frustrating. My surgeon said it's frustrating, and he's frustrated about it. So, you know, I think that it's okay that I feel that way as well. if I had been able to get the treatment for the CRPS, you know, early on, then I may never have got to this point. But that's kind of irrelevant because I have. So he said that really the only way to deal with this is through surgery. What I think it is, I think it's keyhole surgery. I don't know a huge amount about it, so I'm hoping I'll find out more when I go in. But, oh, sorry, my leg's hurting, I've got to sit differently. But basically what I think he's going to do is go in via like keyhole surgery and unstick all of the soft tissue that has got stuck to the bones in my knee. He just said he'll kind of tidy it all up, clean it all up, and hopefully that will mean that I will get the movement back in my knee again, which would be amazing. It comes with risks, as does any surgery. The risks are possibly a bit higher with this surgery because of the state of my leg and my other conditions as well. So he said that I could end up having another flare-up of the CRPS, which is a very real possibility. So I need to speak to the anaesthetist, and I've got a pain consultant at UCLH as well, and he's given some suggestions of things that they could possibly do to reduce that risk. So I'm having lidocaine infusions every 3 months. I've had one so far, to try and help with the CRPS pain. They can't give me a lidocaine infusion as like an inpatient in that hospital. You have to go to a specific place to have those. But he did say that I could have a ketamine infusion after the surgery to try and prevent a flare-up of the CRPS, because obviously if that flares up, that's going to complicate the recovery from this procedure. So yeah, I need to speak to the anaesthetist and kind of come up with a plan of what we're going to do. So that's one risk. Another risk is that the arthrofibrosis could develop again. To try and prevent that, they're going to put me on a leg bending machine straight after surgery, which is basically going to be a machine that bends and straightens my leg for me. Because he said it's just really important that we keep it moving so that scar tissue doesn't stick again. So I'll obviously have that leg bending machine. He did talk about me needing one at home. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but that might be a possibility. And then also doing physio and just trying to keep it moving. And then the other risk, apart from like standard risks you get with surgery anyway, but the other risk specific to this surgery is that they could break my bones. Because my bones in my knee and my lower leg are so thin, he said that there is a real risk that when he's doing what he's doing, that he could break the bones. Obviously he will try everything he can not to do that, but he said it's something that I do need to prepare myself for, you know, the possibility of it happening. We're not doing much about the thinning bones at the moment because basically we're not quite sure whether it's cause or effect, and he's hoping that if I can get the movement back in my knee and I can get some physio going and do some proper weight bearing and stuff, that they may improve. If they don't improve, then we can talk about medications and stuff like that, but that's kind of further down the line. So yeah, there are a few risks, and it's a bit of a scary thought. I don't know, I think just thinking about what my last surgery was like, you know, afterwards, all of the stuff that happened, it's hard not to feel scared about this surgery and, you know, worry that those things might happen again. And obviously we've got these risks as well now. But I just keep telling myself that, one, this is a completely different type of surgery, you know, it's not the same as what I had done before. And also that this is really the only thing that we can do that is likely to make any difference. If we don't do this, it's not going to get better on its own. So, you know, you kind of have to weigh up the pros and cons, and I think, you know, this is what we need to do, and I'm listening to what my surgeon says, and you know, he's a very clever man, and he does a lot of stuff, so you know, I trust in his judgment. So yeah, that is what is going to be happening on Thursday. I'm actually filming this on the Monday, so it's not long. I've had to self-isolate for a week before. I had to do a COVID test this morning before I go in. And yeah, I'll be going in on Thursday. I've got to be at UCLH at 7 o'clock in the morning, which means it's going to be a very early start because I don't live like that near London. So I think we've got to get the 10 to 6 train. So I'm not massively looking forward to that. I don't know how long I'm going to be in hospital for. They said at least one night. It will just depend, I think, on how I recover, like physically from the anaesthetic and stuff, and also how my leg is doing with regards to, you know, physio and all that kind of stuff. So it's all a little bit unknown, which makes it quite difficult because I don't know how much to pack. I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed any visitors, and even if I am, you know, it's not like it's just down the road, so it's not going to be like, you know, particularly regular visitors. But you know, I'll just have to do what I can do. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit nervous about it, but I just wanted to come on here and kind of explain that that is what is happening, because obviously there may not be videos for a little while. I don't have a kind of planned time, you know, in my head of how long there won't be any videos for. I tried to do that last time and it all went to pot, and I felt pressure because I had tried to kind of promise, you know, that I would film all these things and then I couldn't. So, you know, at the moment I'm just gonna say that I'm just gonna see how I go, and when I feel ready to film again, then I will probably start by filming just a bit of another update on how the surgery went and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I can't kind of put a time period on it, I'm afraid. So as I said, I will probably, like, my next video will be another update of just how things have gone, but I will then go back to uploading the weekly vlogs again. So it's going to be a little bit kind of out of order because I'll do the surgery updates, but then I'll go back to weekly vlogs from before I had the surgery because I'm still trying to update them. So I apologise that things are going to be a little bit all over the place for a while, but I just want to catch up with the weekly vlogs because I don't like being this far behind. I also just wanted to apologise a bit because I haven't been very good at replying to comments recently. I've been desperately trying to catch up with replies where I can. I've got quite a backlog of like comments on YouTube and on social media and, you know, various other places, and I really do want to reply to them all, but I just, health-wise, things haven't been great and I've had quite limited energy, so I've just had to kind of use my energy for whatever I can and try and prioritise things. And sometimes it's, you know, it's a choice between, like, do I wash my hair or do I eat a decent meal because that's all the energy I've got for that day or something. So I did just want to say that I appreciate so much, like, anybody that comments, and I do try and read them as they come up, and it's lovely seeing people's comments and seeing people enjoy my videos and interact with them. And I just want to say that, yeah, I am really sorry that I haven't managed to reply to them all yet, and that, you know, it is my aim to get around to replying to them because I appreciate that you have taken time, you know, and energy, which I know can be precious, to leave that comment, and I want to kind of give some of my time and energy back to replying to them. But I want to make sure that those replies are done properly. I don't just want to kind of, you know, leave a very short reply if I need it to be longer. So yeah, I just wanted to apologise that I do owe people replies, and I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you or that I don't appreciate you interacting with my content, because I really, really do. It's just taking me a while to work through, like, from where I kind of have got to so far. So I will try and get back to replying to you all as soon as I can. It just depends how my health is going, to be honest. So yeah, that is pretty much all I came on to say really. It was just a bit of an update to kind of let you know what's going on and to explain why there might not be videos for a little while. Yeah, I don't really know how to end it, because it's like, usually I kind of say I hope you enjoyed my video, but it's a bit of a weird one to enjoy. But I hope you found this update helpful, just to know what's happening. If you do enjoy my videos and you'd like to see more when I'm back from my surgery, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the notification bell. That means you'll get notified every time I upload a video, so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, let me know if you've ever had this kind of surgery before. I don't really know what to expect. Or if you want to leave a comment about anything else, please do. As I said, I will reply to them as quickly as I can. Also, let me know if there's any particular videos you'd like to see me do once I'm back to creating content again, because it's really helpful to know what sort of stuff you like to see. Also, come and follow me on social media. My links are in the description below, but I'll pop my Instagram and Twitter up here. Those are the two platforms that I'm mainly on, and it's probably be Instagram that I start updating first. So if you want to kind of keep up to date with what's going on in my recovery, do come and follow me over there and come and say hello, because it would be nice to have a bit of company while I'm recovering. And I will see you in another video, hopefully very, very soon. Bye!